today's video, we have our top 15 pay-per-views of the 2020 so far. Now, obviously, some of your favorites might not be on this list. However, this is just our combined top 15 so far. But yeah, how are we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, pretty good, but, without further ado, we're just going to jump right in, and that is AEW All In London from this year. Yeah, I mean, we have Bryan Danielson wins the title from Swerve Strickland, and just an amazing match. Obviously, the big moment of him just kind of feeling like he's going to lose in front of his family, and his family, reaching out to him during the match, and him, forget exactly what he was saying to his family during the match, but the whole just big moment of him just feeling like he's about to lose, and then the crowd amps him up, he gets the big win. Yeah, this is just an amazing pay-per-view altogether. The Jack Perry Darby Allin match with the Sting re-debut, or whatever you want to call it. It was just really good altogether, but probably a B tier for me.
Yeah, I personally would probably put it A tier, but I don't mind a B, so yeah. Next up, we have AEW's All Out from this year as well. Just following, obviously, All In. Really good show. Main evented by Swerve and Hangman in their insane unsanctioned steel cage match. We also had a phenomenal women's street fight match between Willow and Chris Statlander. Also had a Pac versus Will Ospreay, which was amazing. But yeah, what do we rank this?
Yeah, this is probably gonna go right along with All In and B tier. Yeah, just another one of those just really good pay-per-views. This is Mercedes' debut, as you kind of mentioned. And yeah, this is kind of the start to what was supposed to really be the start of, well, I believe she said herself, a women's revolution in the AEW. And hopefully she could bring that, because it's still pretty early.
Yeah. Next up, we have Bad Blood 2024 from this year. Obviously, the main talking point from this show is going to be the starting match, which was Drew McIntyre and CM Punk in their Hell in a Cell match. We also had Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns tag teaming, but also followed by The Rock's return, first time since Night After Mania. But yeah, what do we rank this show?
Yeah, I think this is probably going to go in A tier. Just one of the best men's matches of the entire year. We have The Rock just showing his face, just giving the camera a wink or whatever. But yeah, I think I'll probably put it in A tier. Just the match alone with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is just amazing. It's a 5-star match or higher. It's everything you kind of wanted it to be after waiting such a long time for the feud to pay off.
Yeah, personally, I'd probably put it in B as well, but I don't mind it A. I think, like you said, that Hell in a Cell match is phenomenal. So yeah, I don't mind that. Next up, we have Clash of the Castle 2022 in Cardiff, Wales. Main evented by Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns with Solo Sikoa's big debut. Also had the phenomenal Gunther versus Sheamus match. Everything else on the show is very solid. Nothing bad on the show at all. What do you think?
Yeah, we also have the Dominic turn on Rey Mysterio, where he fully gets into the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, really good pay-per-view altogether, and I think it'll go right there with Bad Blood and A tier.
Alright. Yeah, next up, we have a Double or Nothing 2024 from this year as well. Main event, or not main evented, but we had Mercedes Moné's big debut. We had Swerve versus Christian Cage. I think we had Ospreay versus Roderick Strong on this show as well. We also had a Anarchy in the Arena or Stadium Stampede match, which was really fun as well. But yeah, where do you rank this?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the matches that made me a fan of Roderick Strong. I was never too big on him back in his WWE days / early AEW days, but he's really kind of come around to me with the Undisputed Kingdom and the potential of split with all of them and Adam Cole. So yeah, this made me a fan of him, and obviously everyone's a fan of Mercedes. Willow Nightingale's always amazing. Christian, Swerve, always amazing. And yeah, I think I'll probably put this one in A tier. Just altogether, I think the match is just told a really good story of, basically just a show off of how good AEW was doing at the time.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Forbidden Door 2024 as well. Main evented by Swerve and Will Ospreay. We also had the amazing Stephanie Vaquer versus Mercedes Moné, which kind of got Stephanie into WWE. We also had a great women's title match between Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. So yeah, a lot of great stuff on this show. What do you rank it at?
Yeah, one of my favorite women's matches of all time with Mercedes and Stephanie. Uh, really kind of brought Stephanie, like you said, to the light, and everyone in the wrestling community is kind of a fan of her now. And yeah, I'm gonna put this one probably A tier. I think it deserves to get their first A tier or their second A tier for AEW. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have AEW's All In London from last year. Obviously, this is a historic event for just AEW, but for wrestling in general, being able to not only do so well in Wembley, but break records for highest attendance rate. But yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, so it's a big eye opener for the mountain that AEW can reach, and just how big they've really grown over the past 4 years at that point. And yeah, this is obviously the big Punk and Joe match where he famously kind of walks out of AEW. The Jack Perry incident happens before it. Yeah, just kind of a whole mess as far as that goes, but you would never know if you watched the show play out from beginning to end, because just everybody was amazing. The Bucks kind of didn't have the greatest match on this pay-per-view, but it's the Bucks, so you can never talk too bad about them. But this is gonna go S tier either way. Obviously you have Adam Cole, MJF here as well, and the story didn't really pan out towards the end, but that's all kind of hindsight from looking back at this one.
Yeah, there's just so much great stuff. Obviously, like you said, at the time that feud between Adam Cole and MJF was so hot, and we never got that turn on each other what we thought we would get. It was just a nice, cool celebratory moment between the two at the end as well.
Yeah, in hindsight, maybe we should have got the big turn here, so that way we could have paid it off before the injuries happened and whatever. But it was good overall.
Yeah, and next up we have SummerSlam 2022. Obviously, we had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. Obviously, we had the ring flipping over with the tractor. We had the great match between Becky and Bianca with the Damage Control return, or debut rather. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, the one of the best women matches, and at least since I've started watching wrestling, with Becky and Bianca. Bayley's debut, which is one of my favorites of all time. Io and Dakota, who are becoming, some of my favorites on the women's roster. And yeah, just a really good show altogether. We had Logan Paul as well versus The Miz. But yeah, just a fun pay-per-view. Obviously, the big tractor spot was just a really cool moment to see, with them flipping the ring while he's still in it, and then the referee kind of tumbling out of it and whatnot. But yeah, it was just a fun pay-per-view, and I'm going to put this one in A tier, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. Very solid spot. Like you said, nothing bad on this card at all. And yeah, really good show from WWE. Next up, another 2024 pay-per-view from AEW, and that's AEW's Dynasty. Obviously, the most talked about match from this is Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson, in what was the best match probably of this year, and at least in contentions, But yeah, really fun show. What do you think?
Yeah, one of the best, technical matches of the year, 100%. Ospreay. I wasn't very familiar with Ospreay before coming into AEW, and this was a big kind of standout match to kind of show who he was and why you should be excited to see him there. But yeah, this is definitely going to go into the S tier. So it's one of the better pay-per-views of, not of the year, but just of the AEW's history, in my opinion. And yeah, they kind of just made a big statement with this one of how good AEW can actually be when the right people are in the ring.
Yeah. Next up, we have NXT Standard Outlaw from 2024. Their only show on this tier list, however, it was a great show, and that's why it is here. It was main evented by Ilya and Trick Williams. After that, we had Carmella turn on Trick, who early in the night had a tag team match for the Dusty Cup versus Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this is NXT's best pay-per-view. I mean, they, at least since I've been watching, every single match on this card was amazing. You made a star out of Obafemi. Dijak really kind of came, I don't want to say out of his shell because he was always good, but put this eyes on him because so many people are watching this event because of WrestleMania weekend. And yeah, just people fell in love with Dijak, and Josh Briggs still does good as well. He had a really good time in Noah not too long after this one. I believe it was Noah Wrestling where he went at least. But yeah, just an amazing card altogether. We've seen Roxanne and Lyra, I believe it was. which was an amazing feud with them two, where Roxanne kind of starts her reign as well. So yeah, just a really good pay-per-view altogether. Every match was good, and it probably goes A tier.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Yeah, just one of their best shows ever. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Next up, we have AEW's Revolution 2024. Obviously, the big thing here was Steen's retirement match and a great tag team match versus the Young Bucks with Darby Allin. Obviously, that a lot of people may not have liked that at the time, but looking back at it now, it was a great choice. I think maybe you can still do something else, but still a phenomenal match.
Yeah, I was definitely not a huge fan of the Bucks originally being announced for this match. However, leading up to it, they kind of made me a fan of them, being in that spot. And then when the match actually happened, made me an even bigger fan of, showing why I'm not a booker and Tony Khan is, because it was amazing. And the whole pay-per-view in general is amazing. Darby Allin stood out with his big, just crash spot landing off a ladder through glass and chairs. Just a crazy spot for him to even finish that match after that. It was just, took all the will out of him. And yeah, it was just an amazing match. Really, probably the best feel-good moment in AEW history, if I had to say. But yeah, I'm going to put it in B tier.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of their better shows. However, I think they still have a few that even top this, which is, a great thing to say. But yeah, next up we have a WrestleMania 38 headlined by Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. But some of the better stuff from this is also the Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, which was surprisingly great. We also had Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold, which is such a surprise, but it was really cool for both people. And yeah, a lot of good stuff happened on this card. Where would you rank it at, though?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the only C-tier one for me. You kind of mentioned all the matches. I mean, this is, in my opinion, the start of the real Tribal Chief, where he gets both the belts, he unites them, becomes the undisputed champion, and then the whole roster kind of respects him after his domination of the roster and holding the belts for so long. And yeah, just like I said, in my opinion, the start of the real Tribal Chief was right here.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I think there's definitely been better manias, obviously, and we'll get to that very soon. But yeah, still not a bad one at all. Next up, we have a WrestleMania 39. I think we can speak this for both of us, and this is an instant S. Just one of the most perfect WrestleManias ever, from start of night one, start night one to the end of night two. Just phenomenal. Obviously, the decision between Roman going over Cody at the time was a bit crazy, but looking back at it now, a great choice, I think. And yeah, just so much amazing stuff.
Yeah, Rhea and Charlotte, one of the best women matches of that year. I believe it might have even won Women's Match of the Year in our End of the Award show. Or actually, no, it was Becky Bianca that won it, but this was a runner-up. But yeah, just a really good show altogether. The tag team match with Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos just really kind of stole the show as far as night one. And yeah, it was just an amazing pay-per-view. Definitely goes S tier. And like you mentioned, Cody losing really kind of sucked at the time, but knowing what we got looking back at it in WrestleMania 40, which is next, yeah, just told a great story.
Yeah, and then also just the vibes of this was also amazing. It felt like a Mania, just the Hollywood was made it even better. But yeah, like you said, WrestleMania 40 next up. Maybe just as good, but what do you think?
Yeah, just I wouldn't say as good maybe, but right under WrestleMania 39 for sure. But WrestleMania 40 is going to S tier regardless. Roman, Cody, we have Rhea just absolutely destroying a sick Becky Lynch during this WrestleMania, which kind of leads to Liv eventually becoming the champion and that feud starting. We see Uso versus Uso. Yeah, just so many stories kind of got paid off at this one, and it led to everything that we have now. We've seen Drew kind of lead to the big Punk kind of blood feud. This is kind of the big start to their blood feud. They've obviously were doing stuff before this, but this was kind of the big moment where Punk trips him on the table and all of that. And yeah, just an amazing pay-per-view, and I can't complain.
Yeah, definitely just great one. Obviously, one of the best feel-good moments, at least in my opinion, with Cody winning. Something I'll probably never forget, really. And then finally, we have Survivor Series 2023. This was obviously the big thing is CM Punk's huge return to WWE for the first time after leaving AEW. Everything that's happened there. But yeah, where would you rank this at?
Yeah, this one, it might end up in the B tier right there with Sting. Obviously, the moment is just massive of Punk coming back. We had Randy coming back, the big EO spot, the RKO for JD McDonough. Just so many cool moments and good spots, and the whole Punk returning thing is obviously going to carry it a lot. So I could definitely see putting it A tier, but I'll probably say B tier.
Yeah, I agree that the Punk, if this was just purely on moments, that the Punk one would be an S tier. However, everything that happened outside of that match alone was kind of weak. A lot of, like, besides the other War Games match, there's nothing really that gets talked about nowadays. And yeah, I don't think it was that good. However, you know, the CM Punk thing is the only thing you're going to talk about for great reason. But yeah, that would do it from us for our top 15 pay-per-views of the 2020s. Let us know what you guys think. Yeah, we will catch you guys in the next video.